let's go to Patrick in Florida. Why does nobody question atheism like they do theism? What's going on, Patrick? Pronouns are he, him.
Hi, yes. I was just curious because I think even with theists don't question atheists, but atheists question theists more. Perhaps I'm wrong on that, but it just seems to be the case. I've been in a lot of debate groups online, through Facebook, through the years since about 2014. And I do assert that atheism is a leap of faith exactly the same as theism.
Okay, so let me ask you, Patrick.
What justify that leap of faith?
Okay.
Over
all right.
Theism.
Sure. So there's a couple things I really already don't like about this. One, it sounds like you're trying to pull the atheist down to you. Like, I have to use this thing that's not really good at determining beliefs. So let me pull you down with me, right? Let's be part of the club. That's not the case. Two, let me just ask you, what do you take atheism to be? How do you define
atheism is, to me, a rejection of any possibility of God. It's the lack of evidence, right? You say there's no evidence, but what would be evidence of God? It's subjective at best, evidence of God.
Patrick, let me, because we're striking out already. So the first, let me just give you what we mean, right, by the term. There's a proposition. By proposition, this is a statement. It's either true or false. God exists, right? We're not convinced that the proposition is true.
So you think you have the null hypothesis in that God is the hypothesis. Let me just make sure I'm correct on this. Do you feel like you have a null hypothesis in that there's been no legitimate evidence of God presented, so therefore you reject the claim?
Yeah, so it's a good question to ask the distinction between no evidence. So no, my distinction is that there's not sufficient evidence because I could come up to it like some snow tracks or something like that, and you could say it's a unicorn and I can say it's a deer. And technically, yeah, I mean, if given our notion of what we mean by a unicorn, that could potentially be some evidence towards a unicorn, right? But we don't actually have the data for the unicorn. We have the data for the horse. So I'm going to say it's the horse because we're reasonably justified. But I'm not saying that there's what I'm saying is that there's not sufficient evidence to warrant the belief that God exists. I'm not saying that you couldn't posit some evidence.
And I don't think you're saying that we did not. That we were.
Do you think?
Hold on, Patrick, hold on, Patrick. I don't want to mute you. Aaron was speaking.
That's okay.
Sorry.
I was just gonna add to that like I don't think that you're also meaning that we reject the idea that there will ever possibly be evidence, right? Like, just it hasn't been, nothing that's been presented to us so far has been convincing.
What I've gathered from any and every atheist is that they don't think there is evidence or ever will be
or
evidence.
Could be any possibility of future evidence. I don't think that any of us claim to be like all-knowing. So,
well, you're talking to us, so don't worry about the other atheists. You're talking to us, so let's engage with us because it's just weird to talk about people that aren't here, right?
Well, I am an atheist from several standpoints, so I mean, I'm with you on like Christianity.
Wait, hold on. Hold the fuck on. What do you mean when you say you're an atheist? Like, kind of like so
sometimes
you don't accept so do you not? Do you think the proposition God exists?
I'm a theist, but from a Christian standpoint, I'd be an atheist, right? Because I don't believe that.
No, we're saying God. We're not saying Yahweh. We're not saying Allah. We're saying God. Right?
There's many different gods to be an atheist.
Which one do you believe?
Yeah, which one do you believe?
Which one do you believe in?
I believe in the God of Einstein and Spinoza.
Okay.
You know, balling ass geniuses.
Okay, so is this a thing that you believe in?
You two, I'm sure, are smarter.
It's not about intelligence.
Not about that.
I just want to know right? You have a claim. Go. What is the thing that you believe in? Because I didn't catch what you said. I just heard something about Einstein and Spinoza's God.
What I'm saying is, why is it okay for you to ask me that, but not to ask me why do you disbelieve?
Okay, I'll give you. Okay.
Disbelieve through lack of evidence.
Putting you on mute. It's really easy, right? Right now, there are an even number of atoms in the universe, right? That's what you're saying. That's what you're telling me, right? This is an analogy. You're telling me there's an even number of atoms in the universe, right? It's either even or odd, right? Either God exists or God doesn't exist, right? I'm saying I don't believe you when you say that you have evidence that it's even, right? Does that mean that I think there's an odd number of atoms in the universe?
It seems like that's what you believe, Frank, or
No,
whoever your name is.
My name is not Frank. We'll call me. I'll be Frank. Let me be Frank. Okay, I'll be Frank. Let me be frank with you. Okay, Patrick.
Be frank with me. Well,
Yeah,
frankly, I'm just okay. I'm sorry.
That was the joke.
Well, I guess for answering from these two atheists, that's not where we're coming from. So
yeah. So what I'm saying,
Can I ask y'all a simple question? Can I ask a simple question and get a simple answer?
You can, but can you actually answer? Like, can we go through the dialectic that I was going through real quick? Because you're just kind of you're gish galloping from one thing to the other.
I'm just saying, you always want to ask.
Okay, I go back and watch a lot of shows. I don't have to put a lot of people on mute. I really don't. I try not to. I gave you a scenario, right, where you claim that there's an even number of atoms in the universe, and I don't think that you have sufficient evidence to warrant that claim. And then you said, I think it does sound like you're saying that it's odd. Okay. Why are you deliberately straw-manning the view if I'm telling you that I know it either has to be even or odd, but I'm not convinced we have sufficient evidence to determine, right? Why are you just ignoring what I'm saying? Because what conversation happens between two people and you listen to what they say and you respond, but it just sounds like you're like, no, I don't believe you.
Well, do you think you speak for all atheists?
No, there's one proposition on the table.
Okay, so you speak for yourself, right? You speak for yourself as an atheist, not all atheists worldwide, right?
Yeah, because my neighbor, 2 houses down, my neighbor,
you don't
Patrick,
you don't know.
Patrick. I have an atheist
I don't think
neighbor.
Back and forth here.
This is not where we'll move on to someone else. If I'll give one more chance, Aaron, let's have you try. Maybe it's me. I have a neighbor down the street from me. He's a flat earther. Not only does he not believe in God, he thinks God doesn't exist. Okay, you don't find many of that because usually it's like biblically related, but yeah, that exists. I know them. Maybe they're pulling my leg, but that's their claim. Okay, so yes, I don't speak for all atheists because some atheists can present arguments, like deductive arguments on why all gods don't exist, right? I don't think those are successful. I think there are ones that show classical theism to be false, but we're talking about God, like just God, right? Whatever someone attaches that meaning to. And I'm saying we don't accept the proposition to be true. And your whole thing is, why does nobody question atheism like they do theism? Well, they can question. What's the question? Oh, why don't you accept my thing? Because you haven't presented the evidence. Now fucking present it, right? There's the conversation, right? That's what's going to turn into. So instead of doing that dance, Patrick, what's the evidence for the God you believe in?
Well, I would have to ask you what would be evidence to you.
Yeah, something.
What would you consider evidence?
Sure, yeah, give me something in the world. Inductive evidence.
Okay.
Right?
Many scientists,
make a prediction. I don't know.
Scientists and philosophers estimate that the universe itself may well be conscious. That would be evidence.
Okay,
That's
so you think
thing. I can speak of a lot of others.
All right, so let's tack point one. Point one is you're just saying people believe this thing. Scientists believe this thing. Well, no, they don't. Right? There might be some, but that's not the consensus. Two. Right. Even if someone believed that to be true, we would ask, well, what's the independent evidence that they're looking at that has them believing that that's true? Right. You're just avoiding actually giving the independent evidence and focusing on like other people think this is true. Okay, well, if other people think it's true, then that funnels down to the independent evidence that you could provide. But sorry, Aaron,
what you would have
maybe you should go.
I believe that what I'm saying is wrong, is that the universe is finite, not conscious, and not the origin of all other things in existence, which it is. So claim that the universe is finite, not conscious, and not the origin of everything else in existence, and let me hear you lie.
You want wait?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little lost. I don't know where to take this conversation.
I don't think Patrick knows.
Now.
I don't think Patrick knows what he's saying.
No, I think that there is a heavy appeal to like authority or consensus here, like that, like, you know, not even that, like consensus, because obviously like not all the scientists would believe that. That is, I would say, kind of a fringe belief, I think, among scientists. So I don't know where you want to go from here, Patrick. I think we're happy to we're happy to nail, if we can nail one thing down, we'd be happy to talk about it. But I don't really think we have one particular thing we could talk about.
No, I don't know. I don't know how serious Patrick was, but look, if I think I understood the last point, which I don't think Patrick even did, but if you were just saying that you need this thing in order to like ground things right for intelligibility or something, well, you're just giving an if and only if statement, which requires an argument or evidence for. So if you're saying like the thing you believe in can only instantiate like us being able to communicate or have intelligibility of the world, or that's required for that thing, that's an if and only if statement. Okay, so now demonstrate that that's required, right? It's not, that's your claim. It's not, it doesn't just like get past, we have a rigorous standard to assess claims, and then you just want to like, just go around this thing, right? The claim works on its own, just on face value.